Please be advised, if you have not seen the movie that is about to be reviewed in this video, stop this video right now, go and watch the movie and then come back, because there are going to be massive plot spoilers throughout the course of this video. Hey everybody, and welcome back into my little slice of paradise, the video vault. I hope everybody enjoyed the Funko unboxing and Transformers Earthrise Starscream review that I did on that last video. I've been kind of busy the last few days, like just starting to get everything ready to go. You know, hopefully back to work and all of that fun stuff since quarantine and lockdown. So anyway, it's actually really funny I say lockdown, because today's review is 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown, which came out in 2015, starring WWE Superstar Dean Ambrose. Now, unlike the previous installments of the 12 Rounds franchise, 12 Rounds 3 has a different premise to it all completely. There is no 12 tasks that need to be completed in order to, you know, rescue a loved one. No, this is just how many rounds of ammunition that Dean Ambrose has on him. And as always, you know, the bad guys, they have the infinite ammo cheat engaged, because, you know, logistics. Am I right? You know, no need. Oh, ammunition for bad guys, it's never ending. You know, you can shoot a AK-47 or an AR-15 for like 15-20 minutes and never need to reload once. You see it a lot in action movies. It's a very big action movie cliche. That being said, 12 Rounds 3 Lockdown, really, really cool premise. It's all central in one area, and that one area is a police station. So we kick it all off with drug lord, who's just George Fremont is the guy's name. He's just sitting back. He's just watching a game of football, and about 3 or 4 guys bust into his house. They're looking for, you know, something. And at first, like, if you haven't watched this movie before, it's just, oh, you know, you're thinking they're just, you know, random guys that are just, you know, doing a B&E and, you know, gonna rob the place. And no, actually, they're off-duty crooked cops, and they're looking for a piece of very, very damning evidence that could really put them in a lot of trouble, and that is, you know, photographs of them, you know, doing these dodgy drug dealings and taking profits and everything else, you know, the things that cops just should not be doing at all. So they find what they think they find what they're looking for. Little do they know until later on there's actually backup of these photos. So they do the old, the cliched, you know, shoot the screen and, oh, there goes that computer. You know, it doesn't quite always work. No, sorry, they didn't actually shoot the screen. They actually shot the body of the computer this time. There we go. Destroy the hard drive. There you go. See, these action movies are kind of learning a little bit in basics. But so everything, they get away, they leave, everything goes back on. We get to the next day and we see our star of the movie, Dean Ambrose, who is playing Detective John Shaw, who's having his first day back after being told, you know, he has to go on leave for post-traumatic stress disorder after which doesn't really get talked into that much. It's just a shootout that results in not only him getting shot and injured, but also his rookie partner being killed. And so we have this really, really cool scene, actually. every time I watch this, I just get it. I just chuckle. I just chuckle. So we have, you know, the douchebag sort of kid, you know, and this really fancy schmancy sort of, I'm rich, you know, look at what I've got, sort of Lamborghini, Porsche type, you know, luxury supercars, you know, doing the usual, come on, I'm going to rev my car engine. It's like, hey, let's drag, you know. It's like, you know, flips him off. Oh, I'm so cool. His girlfriend's there laughing. It's like, yeah, you're showing him. And then Dean Ambrose, he just shows up his badge, like, just say, don't do it, kid. Just don't do it. And the kid's pride is just shattered. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna wallow. It's like his girlfriend's laughing. It's like completely funny. He's like, it's like, off they go back into the precinct. Shaw is pretty much the outcast with everybody else in the precinct as he goes into his desk at narcotics division. And here we see Detective Burke, who is our, you know, antagonist, and you know he gets the hero's applause, you know, greeting, welcome for taking down the big drug baron. Also, everyone else thinks. And so, like, the tension between Burke and Shaw is really, really well played out. I mean, Dean Ambrose and Roger Cross, they have some really, really great chemistry throughout the course of this movie. It's like, you know, it's the usual good cop, bad cop sort of cliche, but it's done completely differently. And I guess this is what makes 12 Rounds 3 like so really, really good. It's so compelling to watch because we get our MacGuffin, our plot device comes into play, and it is a flash drive that, you know, just looks like an American Express card or whatever, gets checked into evidence. Shaw finds it, takes it, signs it out. We have Officer Jenny Taylor, who's doing everything by the book. Like, she's only been there for about a month, fresh out of the academy. So rings Burke, says, oh, you know, this has come in. There's like evidence from like the Fremont case. He's like, uh-oh. So they race in, they find out that, you know, Shaw's the one that's, you know, signed it out, so he's got it. He knows like all their shady dealings. He's got to be stopped, whatever way they can. And yeah, so they evacuate the entire precinct, or so they think they've evacuated everybody that is not of import. As always, you know, there's always that one person that is sort of left trapped behind, who's just clueless as to what is going on, and that is Sarah Smith's character, Jenny Taylor. We'll get into her a little bit later on. So they evacuate the building by pulling the fire alarm and basically trying to do whatever they can to make sure that, you know, Shaw does not make sure that Shaw doesn't get the evidence out. So they're basically just like, you know, we got to hunt him down. We got to kill this son of a bitch. And it's basically the ultimate game of cat and mouse, really. So you sort of think John Shaw as the John McClane of this movie, really. So we got, you know, the good guy who's trying to, you know, overcome the odds, and I've lost my train of thought. Just basically overcome the odds, just like, you know, one against however many, and, you know, the police station is Nakatomi Plaza. So it's really, really cool how he manages to sort of like sneak through, and eventually he realizes that, you know, he's, you know, being tracked by, they've got someone in the security section. So after a few shootouts and eventually, you know, taking a few of the bad guys out, he manages to rip the server out and all the cameras and everything go dark, and it's just pretty much, there's no more, oh, he's on this floor, oh, he's on that floor, oh, he's on this floor, oh, he's on that floor. So that gives Ambrose a big advantage, and all this sort of happens after he has a run-in with Officer Taylor. He's like, what's going on? I can't get out. He's just saying, like, you know what, you should not be here. You find a spot and you hide. And the bad guys are basically trying to do everything they can to make it look like, you know, because of Shaw's history with, you know, what happened to him and his partner. It's like, and the PTSD is like, oh, you know, he's snapped. He's taken out, you know, X number of people. They're all communicating on two ways and have, again, unlimited ammo engaged, and he's only got a depleting number of rounds, really. So, but yeah, Officer Taylor, she runs into Burke, who takes her up to the security monitor place box thing where all the screens and that are, and they try to, and Burke coaxes him out by saying, you know what, if you don't show yourself, you know, there's going to be another dead rookie. You got, you know, 5 seconds, like, gets down to one, he gets down to one, and yeah. Of course, Ambrose jumps out, it's like, oh, please, no, don't kill, no, not another dead rookie on my watch. But unfortunately, because, you know, Burke is the bloodthirsty bad guy, he shoots and kills her anyway. Collateral damage. Pretty much, which is always the way. You know, you always get that one person you don't want to see bite it, but collateral damage, I guess, just fodder. Eventually, a few more guys get taken out, and it just ends up being Burke and Ambrose. Ambrose manages to find a spot on the roof where he can actually make a phone call and contact the police captain named Matthews, who's played by Rebecca Marshall. Again, the cast in this movie is really, really good. Like, you can easily buy into Dean Ambrose being this, you know, pure, by the book, good guy cop, you know, is the badge. He is the badge, and then you got, you know, the corrupt bad guys who are just horrible, as always, you know, the cliche bad cop. But so we get to what we think's the final showdown. We think, oh, you know, what's her name, Captain Matthews is, you know, going to help Shaw get out of there, and everything's going to be all hunky-dory. But then we have the massive twist that Captain Matthews is actually in league with Burke, and Ambrose is just thinking, well, this is the end of it then, because the evidence he had has been destroyed. It's the only thing that was going to clear his name, and now the captain's like involved as well. I'm totally screwed, is what he's thinking. And Burke kills Captain Matthews. The SWAT and the big chief all storm in. Burke's doing it was him, you know, it was him, like, they go to arrest Shaw, who has very, very sneakily, while the villain is doing his biggest weakness ever, which always happens in his movies, is he starts to monologue. It's like, well, this is why, and all that. It's like Ambrose, who's still holding his phone, has actually recorded everything that Burke has said. And just as Ambrose is about to get arrested, he just says, wait, plays the audio that he's recorded. And Burke's like, oh. So he tries to shoot Ambrose, but Ambrose actually uses his last round and shoots him in the leg, arrests him, and there's a very, very cool line. It's like, just Ambrose says to Burke, is like, you know what, you're right. I did kick ass on my first day back, because you go back to the earlier in the movie, Burke actually says to Shaw, have a kick-ass first day back. And that's exactly what he did. And, you know, Ambrose walks off, and that is 12 rounds 3. Lockdown. Again, a very, very enjoyable movie. The characters are very, very believable. Like, the way they are portrayed, like, you can picture Dean Ambrose as this good guy cop, you know, does everything by the book, and, you know, Tyler Cross again, who plays Burke, is like, you know, starts off doing everything by the book, but then, like, sees what everybody else can get by doing these other things, and is pretty much just compelled by greed and whatever else. So he wants it all. And, you know, so do the 5 or 6 other goons that, you know, come along for the ride. But yeah, 12 rounds 3 is, it's a good movie to watch. Like, I'm not gonna bag it out, because I don't think it's a very fair thing to do. Yes, it is a direct to DVD movie from WWE Studios instead of 20th Century Fox this time, who put out 12 rounds 1 and 2. This is put out through Lionsgate, who do a lot of low budget sort of B direct to DVD sort of stuff, with the exception of, I think it's the Saw franchise. They were the distributors for that. But I strongly recommend all 3 of the 12 rounds movies. Like, if you want to have just a popcorn sort of movie, you know, franchise that you can knock over really, really quick and get absolute enjoyment out of all 3 of the movies, and definitely 12 rounds are definitely it, because there's just a lot of, you know, really, really good suspense that are in these movies, and I will recommend them. I don't care if anyone says, oh, Randy Orton shouldn't have been cast in 12 rounds 2. It should have been, you know, John Cena coming back, or, you know, it should have been maybe somebody like The Miz, or, which we might get into if I decide to do the Marines. We'll see. Maybe. But yeah, I do strongly recommend the entire 12 rounds franchise. Are there, you know, inconsistencies and plot holes and cliches? Yes. You're going to get them in any movie. It doesn't really matter. But they're, unless you're looking for them with a magnifying glass or a microscope, or you don't really know what you're looking for, you're not gonna find them. So yeah, I strongly do recommend the 12 rounds movies. There we go. So yeah, that's it for those. The next one coming up will be the it's going to be an interesting one. It's like, it's got a cool concept. Some of it's a bit weird. Some of it's done really, really well. It's the ABCs of Death. I'll tell you all about that next time. So here comes the tale, and yeah, bye for now. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. If you like what you see, click that subscribe button. Make sure you dangle that notification cowbell. You can hit me up on all of my social medias, which will be down in the description box below. And I shall see you all next time around.